Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, which is the dumber new Golden Globes category? Achievement in box office excellence or best podcast?
Hold on. I hadn't seen this. Hold on. Hold on. Explain.
I'm your host, Ash Shobley. That is Dylan Blatt. The Golden Globes announced they're introducing a best podcast category.
Why?
Because the Golden Globes are going to Golden Globes. What else do you want me to say?
I'm just confused about how
Let me see if I can find a statement.
Anything to do with anything that the Golden Globes would ever really Golden Globes. I'm confused.
As the world of entertainment continues to evolve, we're excited to recognize new forms of storytelling, said Helen Hon, the president of the Golden Globes. Podcasts have emerged as a profound medium for sharing narratives and building communities across global borders and generations. The award will include both audio and video podcasts and will spotlight work that has made a significant impact over the past year. The 25 most popular podcasts will be eligible, with 6 finalists to be named. Specific eligibility guidelines are expected in the coming weeks.
I say this as someone who records a lot of podcasts with you.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off. That's dumb.
Why?
It has no reason to be part of the Golden Globes. I don't get, like, oh, now the winner of the best fucking thing, Logan Paul. Like, what am I... What are we talking about here?
I know, like, those big podcasts, they have, like, a similar impact to people who go see movies. Like, I'm sure in some people's opinion, Joe Rogan's a bigger star than a lot of people in Hollywood. Has more influence, you know.
And now the winner, Andrew Tate. Please come accept your award.
Oh wait, you can't. You're stuck in another jail somewhere around the world for raping people.
Fucking give him an award.
Allegedly.
Here, Woody Allen, you win the Best Picture award this year too. We're just doing the it's fucked year. Like,
yes,
Roman
but is
Polanski,
it worse?
Come on down.
Is it worse than the award for cinematic achievement, for box office achievement?
That's a dumb award. That's an MTV Movie Awards like award. However, I'm still like thematically that at least fits in the category. I have no idea how the fuck podcast gets in here. They weren't doing radio. Like, what are we talking about? I'm so confused. That is dumb. It's new age radio is the most closest equivalent to podcasting. It's people talking. We do it several times a week. I feel like I know what the fuck I'm saying. It is new age radio. It is not fucking television.
I know what some of the bigger people do is, I guess, like, but not like.
What, they set up some cameras and they just cut to Joe.
Television.
They cut to Joe Rogan.
No, but
oh man, this fucking it's fucking sponsored by cigar.com.
But you got to consider the Golden Globes don't do like a talk TV show category, which, you know.
We'll fucking start with that. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
This is dumb. Move on.
Yeah, absolutely. This is
enraged me. Fucking disgusting.
Oh, wow. So I guess we're not getting nominated. Not that we're ever going to be.
Take your shitty award.
We win. Fuck this award. This is dumb.
Yep.
Stay on theme.
Yep. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
All right.
Get up there and say free Palestine.
On today's episode, we'll
fuck
talk
you,
about
Ricky Gervais.
What's in our watch history. Going over some film news, giving thumbs to trailers to give this week's top 3. Kick things off. Obviously, we are coming to the end of our discussion of Andor over on Holocron Entries. At time of release, the final episodes of Andor will be up. But I feel like it would be a mistake not to talk about Andor after the last batch of episodes, which may be some of the best television we've watched all year.
It is the best television we've watched all year. What are you talking about?
Is it the best television we've watched in the last 18 months?
Oh no, that's a harder question. But I like what else is good this year? I can't even think of anything.
I mean, Adolescence, The Pit, Severance.
Let me look
Those
at
would
the
be the
let
big
me
things mentioned.
check out Metacritic. What do we got here? What's on here that Wolf Hole, Get Millie Back, North Road, Toxic Town, Your Friendly Neighborhood, Star Wars Andor, Reacher, Dying for Sex, Adolescence, obviously that would be my other pick, I guess. The Rehearsal, that would be another pick. Wheel Time, Ludwig, Hacks, Mode, Last of Us, The Pit, obviously you'd pick that. The Studio, that is another pick. And then we drop down into lower scored stuff. So yeah, I mean, look, it's the pick.
Mm.
It's great. I don't know how to talk about spoilers though. It's imagine Star Wars, but instead of being less interested in fanboy nostalgia and jerking each other off with some action figure toys, it is just a show that's really well written about actual rebellions and war and the cost that has on people within the different sides of this as it's all happening, and it's espionage and all sorts of stuff. It's fantastic. It's well acted. It's top stellar writing. It's directed. It looks fantastic. Cinematography. I honestly, at this point, if you're like, man, I don't like. I know I hear people say that this show's good, but I chose not to watch it because the Star Wars movies haven't done it for me. Whatever else, shut the fuck up and watch Andor. That's fine. Because Andor is the best thing we've had other than Last Jedi.
And if you don't like The Last Jedi, it's the best thing we've had.
It's fine. It's fine.
Full stop. Yeah, I mean, so over on Gold Derby, and obviously the Emmys are later this year, which Andor will be eligible. It is currently sitting 7th in their opinion of predictions for drama series.
If it wasn't a Star Wars show, you would definitely be thinking it has a lot higher chance. You know, it's sort of got a level of handicap because of that on it, though.
Because it is so genre.
Yeah, and for the people who don't watch it properly and just put on their screen and let it play,
yeah. And maybe the rushed nature of its release might factor into that as well, which I don't want to get you started on. But interesting, the things above it. Number 6 is The Diplomat, which I've never seen, but apparently has a large following. Number 5 is Slow Horses.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 4, The White Lotus.
Hell yeah.
Would you put Andor over the latest season of The White Lotus?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 is The Pit.
Yep.
Number 2, The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 is Severance. So,
still caught up on Severance. That is currently the,
which I think is also something that's had a split reaction as well. So
that's also a huge. Have you finished that season yet?
No.
That is a huge negative currently on our podcasting shoulders, I feel. You know?
Yeah.
I need to rectify that ASAP, I feel.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a tame year. It looks like not a lot of other fantastic dramas out.
When's the cutoff? Next month?
I believe end of June. Yeah.
End of June, yeah. End of financial year, basically. Yeah. That's how I always.
I think it's like 22nd of June.
It's yeah. I always like in my mind. I just know it's like roughly the same time as like taxes.
Yeah.
End of our financial year. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, nothing's going to come out. I don't think anything's coming out left field within the next couple of weeks. So.
So.
Pretty high chance.
Andor. I think I'm going to wait till the end until we watch these last 3 episodes. But there is a question on my mind that I will want to ask you, so be prepared.
Is it the best Star Wars thing ever?
Is Andor the best prequel ever? Or how close is it to first place behind Better Call Saul? So you stew on that and think about it.
Man, I love Andor, but you know I love me some Better Call Saul. And come for my boy Saul Goodman like that. And come for my girl Kim Wexler. What the fuck are you doing out here? Come for my girl Kim? Like,
you gotta ask hard questions. So,
fuck.
yes, go watch Andor. Full stop. You know, we're pretty sure it's going to stick the landing. So, yeah, very excited for these last couple episodes that we'll be talking about over on Holocron Entries, our Star Wars podcast. So, go listen to all the discussions there. It's, fantastic. Dylan, 11 episodes ago, I put a trailer in Thumbs for Trailers for a certain horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
And this quickly became your most anticipated movie of the year. Out of nowhere.
Well, let's not... I was excited to watch it. Let's not overshoot.
Okay, maybe not. I'm a bit of a hyperbole.
Yeah.
But yes, it became your home personality for a little bit there.
It did, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm, of course, talking about Clown in a Cornfield. Small indie horror movie that's based on a series of books that I thought was going straight to Hulu, but has come to cinemas. We have both watched this film.
Oh, you did go watch it. Nice. Because that means after podcast, I can explain all the nuances that the movie misses. It's full spoiler.
Listen, we can when I finish saying keep watching stuff, I guess we can split into spoiler mode and you can talk about all the stuff you want to talk about, but yeah, you've got a review up for the website and you're giving it a 6 out of 10.
It's okay.
Obviously this is set in like some Midwestern town.
Yeah, so I mean, look, the plot of
Kettle Springs, I believe.
Kettle Springs. So the plot is basically it follows a girl called Quinn and her father, Dr. Glenn Maybrook. They're moving to Kettle Springs at the start of the I nearly said book because my book's just at the start of the movie. And the town is, it's fucking living in the 1950s. It's middle of nowhere, like stereotypical America, small town vibes. She doesn't love it, but then you find out a little bit into the movie they moved there because her mum like OD'd and her father wanted to escape basically and get out of the big city and get someone new. So they move out there. But then she makes friends with some troublemaker kids who like to film prank videos and stuff. And then a clown dressed as Friendo, which is the mascot for the town's local corn syrup. Yeah, corn syrup factory, which also recently just burnt down, is going around and killing people in clown costume. So that's I guess the setup. I think the movie is, as a 6 out of 10, okay. I think like it still includes all the stuff I really liked about the book, just without, as I said in my review, like a lot of the nuance, and it doesn't have enough time to like give a lot of the other characters enough time to shine as much as they do in the book. I think Quinn, Katie Douglas, does a really great job. She's a fantastic, I think, lead. I've never seen her in anything, but I thought she was really, really good in this. The slasher element of it is, I don't think it's particularly trying to be gross out scary. It's not trying to be like super gory or anything. Like if you compare that to the other clown franchise, I like Terrifier, which is out to be like as gory as fucked up as possible. This is just more, I don't think this is any more violent than like a Scream film. It is, it has like a level of violence, but I don't think it's particularly trying to like be over the top and make people throw up or anything like that. It's also trying to be funny at times. Like there's a lot of dialogue in it. The moment, I don't think this is really a spoiler. So when I watched it, there was an old guy in the theater with me, and that was it. There was just a dude. I was at one end, he was there. I looked over and went, I can't believe I'm watching this at 10 a.m. on a Friday. It's such a weird time for a screening of this film, but I'm glad they had it because it was the only cinema showing it at 10 a.m. and I can watch it before I go to this Nintendo thing. But then the fact this old dude was there watching it with me, and I sort of just wanted to know what his story was, but don't know. Nonetheless, there's a moment in the film where a bunch of characters run upstairs in a house and they want to dial 911 and they pick up, and it's one of those old dial phones where you got to spin rotary phones. You got to spin around numbers, and the characters go, "Oh my god, I don't know how the fuck do we use this?" And they can't dial 911 because they don't know how to use the phone. The old dude down the road, all I hear is he was loving it. Like he was like, these fucking kids. Like, and the movie. I mean,
He
the
was
movie.
going for the clowns.
He really was going for it. The movie has a few jokes like that. I guess that there's like a thing about driving car as well. They're all from the book, like a lot of those, the humor and stuff like that, which is good. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it trimmed it down to a very slim 90-minute slasher that is a bit of fun. It keeps in the stuff that I did really enjoy about the book. The reason it made me binge it, all three of them, in a very quick period of time there. But I just don't think it supplies them with enough nuance that I can go, well, this is the reason. Like, I could point to it and go, here are the plot elements and things that I think make this stand out from other slashers, but I don't think it brought enough to them to give them the due diligence. I still enjoyed it. I obviously I became a big fan of those books pretty quickly, so I was still enjoying seeing these characters that I've come to love on the screen.
I mean, yeah, I had a good time. It was a fun slasher movie. I didn't struggle through most of it. I mean, there is one extended 10th scene that
Operation.
No,
I thought that would gross you out, but
I mean the operation was fine. Like, but there was the fucking which kid
working out.
Tucker, I think. Yeah, Tucker at Tucker's house, where he thinks someone's playing a prank on him, but it's not.
I'm like, got you in the scares,
yeah, yes. Like, at any moment, Frendo's going to pop out.
But again, that's like the most atypical like slasher thing.
No, it's very basic.
Creeping around the house,
like, I think there are a couple of cool kills and that kind of stuff in the film. But yeah, obviously the budget, I feel like, plays into it a lot.
Yeah, it's an indie horror film. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Setting was really cool. A lot of the characters are really interesting. Obviously, there's a little bit of a twist on the romantic story,
which I would like to touch on more, because again, that's an element that I feel like it comes out of nowhere, but in the book it feels more like you sort of see it coming, because it does a better job at
of hinting at it than this. I it was a solid time. I would happily watch another one. It does get a little bit corny with the clown jokes towards the end, but
I'm going to pitch you this. I'll tell you what the second one is about after this.
All right. Tune in to the end of the episode. We'll be talking about spoilers for Clown and Cornfield and discussion about the future of the franchise. But like you said, hopefully it's a success. It did make $3.7 million on a budget of less than $1 million just from domestic on its first weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge return. I believe it's the biggest ever return for an IFC film. So I would suspect the likelihood of another Clown and Cornfield, another Clown and Cornfield film,
it's high,
reasonably high.
And I'm hoping they get a bit more money, because they need it.
Yeah. All right. Dylan, you watched the documentary Last Take, Rust, and the Story of Halyna.
Yeah, so this is on
Disney Plus.
It's a Hulu documentary. It's about the death of Halyna Hutchins, who was the cinematography that was working on Rust, who was, of course, shot by a gun being held by Alec Baldwin on the set of the film in 2021. That we've now seen out. Now has now fully wrapped its court proceedings and all that. It took years to get there, but I mean I think that this film's interesting because the reason I wanted to watch it was just for that, I guess, that behind the scenes understanding of how this could happen on a film set. But the thing is, no one still knows, or no one's admitted how the real bullets even got on set. So it's not an answer that anyone even has. And you won't get that out of this documentary. It doesn't debunk that. But it is interesting to just see in the interviews of people. You've got the first assistant, you've got the AD talking about, they take accountability for them not doing their safety checks, and you get to see some of the cop footage from going there. That you get to see the initial police interview footage with Alec Baldwin. Hannah Gutierrez, who's the armorer or whatever the job title is. The first AD. You get to see interviews with friends of Halyna, her husband, her other people that were part of a camera crew in the film. And then the film does a sort of it makes it more about her. And I guess you could say maybe it doesn't do a good enough job of like sort of, because from the outset the film is supposed to be like the director's Rachel Mason is sort of doing VO at the start, talking about how they set out to make this film about their friend, but they felt like they couldn't make a film about their friend without first like tackling the tragedy, because it was such a big thing hanging over the head. So by the end of the film, it's like the last half tries to like give a bit more insight on who she was and why she was just beginning. Like she would have been such a huge star cinematographer in years to come. Like her career was basically just kicking off. She was like considered one of the biggest, too hot to watch cinematographers currently just coming into Hollywood. She was like on lists like that, and that's why she was sort of hired. And then they even, by the time you get to the end of the film, it has interviews with the cinematographer whose name I can't remember, but the cinematographer who came in to finish the film when they returned to the film. And I think it also helped put in perspective, and I'm probably going to watch Rust now, because when they finished it, I too initially was like, why the fuck did they finish this film? They should just let it. It's this disaster thing or whatever. They have interviews with her mum in this, how her mum was the one who said finish the film because they felt they wanted her daughter's work to actually be seen. They've got interviews with everyone that comes back on the project, and it's very much this like, let's finish the film for her. Let's like get all that work that she had done, like let's get it out there so it's out for the world to see. That's what her mum's wishes are. That's what we're like going to set out to do, which sort of helped put in perspective, like change my mindset to like, I will sit down and watch that film and not just be like, why did you do this? So it's also, I guess, super interesting just to watch from that perspective of, we had all those conversations when it happened about, gun safety and, how these things happen. And, there's all these conversations people have around like, do you even need to reuse blanks these days? Do you even need to, when they return to shooting the film, they have interviews with the armorer when they start shooting it several years later. They're not using blanks or anything anymore. They're not using real guns with blanks. They're just using prop guns, plastic guns. They still do safety checks just so everyone knows that they're prop guns and everyone feels very safe using them. But then, you've got, and it's one of those big discussion points that lots of directors have to these days around, are they necessary? Are they not necessary? The film points out at the end that California, I think the first place now to ban them. You can't use real guns in film shoots in California anymore. Like it's a safety thing. I think it's worth watching just from a like behind the scenes film perspective, but then also in understanding. I think it does a good job of, this is, and the film points it out, they never used her name a lot. All the headlines, Alec Baldwin shoots cinematographer. Alec Baldwin shoots cinematographer. It's like, who's the cinematographer? Why it should just be like actor accidentally shoots Halyna Hutchinson. Like the headlines weren't even using her name, like it's just her who she was and her work and everything was buried under this making the story more about the event rather than the person, so yeah.
All right. Let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Dylan, you've got a review up for the latest or the upcoming Untold documentary, The Liver King, up on the website.
Yeah, look, I gave this a 7, I think, because I enjoyed it, even though it is terrible. Now,
what is terrible?
Him.
The subject is terrible.
The subject matter, and I'm not even sure the point of the documentary, to be honest. I didn't get a lot out of it. What I did get, and the reason I'm giving it a 7, is because it was, if they set out to make it how I took it, which was very funny. And that's how I watched it. And I'm not sure if that was the intent or wasn't the intent. So if I'm choosing to say that's the intent, then good job. Now, if I find out that wasn't the intent, then, well, I don't know, man. But like, so Liver King, for people who don't know, for some reason, you'd have to be on either Instagram or TikTok, because he's basically a short form content creator dude. So you have to be watching Reels or TikToks. You wouldn't see him in other places, but he's a big, manly dude. He's got a big, burly beard. He's always shirtless. He's got big muscles, and he talks about how he lives off, he just eats organs. He eats liver, and it gets him his muscles, and he eats bull testicles because they're full of estrogen and gives you big muscles, and he lives on 9 rules or something, and he's the most like alpha dude energy shit you can see. He's not here to mess around with you fucking pussies, that's for sure. He's here for real men shit, and he's raising his 2 boys to be real men. Damn right. And he's real dumb too, because he lies for years and says, when everyone's like, sure, you're on steroids, and he's like, no fucking way, man, it's all because I eat liver. And then guess what? He's on steroids. And that came out and ruined his career, and now he doesn't do anything anymore because he got proven to be a fraud. And then and then he also talks, but he's interviewed in the documentary, and he's like admits to it, but then he admits to a bunch of other shit he's done his whole life, which just prove he's always been doing some sort of scheme or shit to get by. But I mean, look, watching this guy interact and just like smoke his own bullshit, very entertaining to me. Very, like, the kids, they eat the same thing. He's just, they're having bull testicles for lunch. They're having their 2 scoops of intestines for dinner. They're doing, they don't eat none of this bullshit. They live off the land. And my favorite line of dialogue that just made me lose it, and I was like, you know what, this documentary is great, was in like was like over an hour in, towards the end of the film. It's after they've covered like the whole steroid thing or whatever, and there's a whole scene. I put this in my review too. There's a scene where there's like him, his wife, and 2 kids, and they've gone out to a field, and they're sitting there, and they're like, thank you, land, for providing for us. Like, we're doing a thing, we're gonna live off the land. And he asks his son, he's like, the air, where's the air come from? And the son looks around and he doesn't say anything, and he goes, where's the air come from? Again, the son doesn't say anything. And now I'm sure you probably know the answer to this, like, more than most people, because most people understand where air comes from. And then with full seriousness, Liver King goes, that's right, it comes from the wind. Air comes from the wind. We breathe the wind. And I was like, this is the dumbest motherfucker ever. People out there buying this dude supplements and whatever else, like, man, this guy's going to change your life and whatever else. Anyway, yeah, I would recommend watching because it's highly entertaining. However, just be aware you might get dumber from listening to some of what's happening.
Okay.
But entertainment factor, pretty good.
Pretty high?
Yeah, pretty high.
Interesting. All right. Then you also watched another documentary, A Deadly American Marriage.
This just falls into the, Netflix love these murder, marriage, or lovers docos, don't they? They put one out every month at least. So this one is and apparently was a lot covered in America and Ireland, because the husband is Irish. So this was a huge case there. I don't recall ever hearing about this, but so it's the story goes, this is the thing. So it starts with parents are staying over at this couple's house, the parents of the wife, and then the old dude wakes up, the father of the wife, the girl wakes up, hears a scuffle, comes upstairs, he sees the husband like grappling this woman, and his child and his daughter, and he goes, I'm gonna save her, and he beats the living fuck out of her, this dude with a baseball bat, and she so happens to have a cement cinder block on a bedside table because reasons, and she smacks him over the head a few times with that, and they all say it was definitely because he was abusing her and him, and they got into a scuffle, even though they have absolutely no scratch marks, bruises, or anything like that. And I just want to say how I too, when I'm going, you know what, I'm going to paint some cinder blocks, I'm going to paint some bricks, but I didn't get to finish it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry this one brick all the way upstairs, and I'm going to put it on my bedside table while leaving the rest of them downstairs, because that is very normal behavior. because that's what apparently happened. Yeah, so then there's this whole court case, and he said, she said, all this sort of stuff. The sister of the dude comes in, like sort of adopts the kids. And then the interesting thing is that they have interviews with the kids when they're like 10 days after the murder of the death of their father. And they're saying, he always used to beat up her mum or whatever, but they're using like very high language, like they were, I would quite often see my mum be yelled at and abused. Like they're saying stuff that like 8-year-olds weirdly wouldn't say. Like it's very like just it seems like they're coaxed into it. And then lo and behold, the documentary starts with the kids. They're now on the other side. They're now like attending. They're on the side of their father because they're now saying, yeah, that's exactly what happened. We were coaxed into saying this sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. I don't think. I mean, again, it's a documentary, so I feel as the spoilers really that you can do so much. But like the father and the daughter do some time for low level stuff because of like how brutal the like there's blood everywhere. Like it looks like fucking massacre. Like because they beat the living fuck out of this dude. So they go, well, it wasn't like you weren't protecting yourself. Like this is beyond protecting. Like you were enjoying it, sort of thing. But yeah, I guess the documentary tries to explore both sides of people that say they got off too easy because they're now out and have done their time, or like the sister does and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if you couldn't tell, I'm very obviously on the side of who the fuck sleeps with a cinder block next to their bed. But yeah.
All right. Before we move on, Dylan, I'm going to give you a break. You can put your feet up and rest because I'm going to be talking about some anime.
Hey, I love anime.
Well, you might be interested in this because it was one of the anime I recall you actually watching recently. Yeah. I want to talk about the second season of Windbreaker.
Oh, I need to start.
You need to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, really great stuff. Like, obviously, it is an anime about this school called Bofarin, in which all the students are like super fighters. Really like fighting, but they all come together to protect their town from outsiders. There's a new student called Sakura who comes from slightly outside of town and wanted to come to Bofarin to become the strongest and like become the top dog at Bofarin.
You said they've got strong fighters there.
He's got strong fighters, but then he becomes to learn that really it's all about friendship, and he's struggling to deal with that. So where we left off at the end of last season was they were going to go save one of his classmates' friends from a rival or another gang called Keel. So the season opens with that confrontation between the Bofarin and the Keel fighting against each other. That was probably like the first 2 episodes of the season, I want to say, off the top of my head. Let me just double check. 3, I guess. First 3 episodes of that fight. The next 3 episodes have been pretty much just the fallout, I guess, or Sakura coming to terms with him caring about the people in his class and his teammates, I guess. And it's just been very talky and matter-of-facty, and like in one episode he like gets a cold, and then all his friends want to give him stuff to make him feel better and that kind of stuff. And it's about him coming to accept other people into his life, which I think has been very moving. The latest episode is really interesting because it focuses on the character who was briefly introduced last season called Tsukibai Baku, who is a 3rd year at Bofarin, but is transgender. And it goes, yeah, and it goes into how they came to accept wanting to wear women's clothes and that kind of stuff. I might be jumping the gun saying they're transgender, but they are dressed in women's clothing, and he does have that character has a crush on the big head Toriyama guy. So yeah, it's like this. She goes into her history or their history, and about how they come to accept, starting to accept the things that they like to do and wear. And it's this really beautiful episode of her trying to help this, or them trying to help this elderly man who'd lost his wife in the past year kind of grieve and get back to normal, I guess. Really special episode. And then I believe this week, new visuals came out for like a big action arc. So we're going to get back into the fighting and the punching stuff soon. So yeah, jump into Windbreaker. It's 6 episodes, released the second season so far. So few hours of content there for you to catch up on Windbreaker. So that's really delightful to watch. That's it. That's everything in our Watch History this week. Let's move into a little bit of film news. And the big story, or the big rumor making the rounds this week, is that the director of Thunderbolts, */ the other title that is being marketed, Jake Schrier, is the rumored person that they are courting to direct X-Men. So reading from IndieWire, an X-Men movie at Marvel Studios looks to be finally picking up steam, and Jake Schrier, the director of one of the best-reviewed MCU movies in years, Thunderbolts, is in early talks to direct the film, IndieWire has confirmed. Michael Leslie, who wrote the Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, wrote the script for the Untitled X-Men movie. Kevin Feige, per usual, is producing. Marvel declined to comment. Dylan, what do you think about Jake Schrier, the director of Thunderbolts, directing X-Men?
Yeah, it makes sense. Marvel usually does, like, especially for films they consider big, they usually like to use someone they've used before. If you think of any of the big tentpole films, they're not one-off directors. They're always from someone who's worked on at least one other Marvel movie.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Russos. They directed Captain America, Winter Soldier. Before and then
Civil War.
Yeah, they did Civil War. That's right.
Yeah.
And then obviously probably the more recent example, outside of Pete and Reed, just making all the Ant-Man movies, is names escape me.
But the dude who's doing Fantastic Four has worked on the TV shows.
Yes, director of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, yeah. I can't remember his name either. So,
Destin Daniel Cretton was attached to do an Avengers film.
Mm-hmm.
Is now doing the next Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day. That's comparable.
That may have been because of choice, for all we know.
That could have been for choice. Obviously, he's also working on the Wonder Man TV show.
Yeah,
from memory.
Yeah, so
obviously, Brian Coogler has been pretty much given a blank check to do whatever he wants in the MCU.
Yeah, I feel like once people prove themselves that they can work within what's considered the Marvel book, but at least within the confines of their square, they're more trusting. They wouldn't, that you give someone like a film like Thunderbolts, if they fuck it up, you're not getting a shot at something like X-Men. So it makes sense to me. And I think obviously we really like Thunderbolts, so I've got no complaints about.
And the team dynamic was a very key aspect to what we enjoyed about that film.
Yeah, the action was fine. There was little of it. Obviously, X-Men film I'd expect a bit more, but I think that the banter and back and forth between the characters was the big highlight for that, and some of the key, like the more emotional scenes, I guess the more character-driven scenes of the film, which you would want for an X-Men film. That's what the best X-Men films get that stuff right. So
yeah, absolutely. So very exciting. This movie is kind of starting to come together. Obviously, we're probably not. X-Men is probably a focus. Something they're going to focus on post Doomsday, or post Secret-Wars. Once they've done all this kind of stuff, but there have been a lot of rumors going around about certain actors for certain roles. So I'm just going to run through a few that I've seen commonly stated, and you give me an opinion if
these proper,
yay or nay.
Are these legit, or are these just people posting shit on fucking?
These have been recurring rumored actors for roles. Okay. Harris Dickinson as Cyclops. Harris Dickinson from Baby Girl and the upcoming Beatles quadrilogy of films.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
He's dicky enough.
Yeah.
So,
Boy Scouty enough.
yeah.
Sadie Sink as Jean Grey.
So they're going young?
That's the rumors, you know.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that. Like,
Sadie Sink's like 30 now.
what? I'm fine with that. Yeah.
It feels like that. 23. That's close enough.
Yeah. It really is, isn't it?
There's a Stranger Things joke.
Mm.
They're taking forever to come out.
Mm.
Margaret Qualley as Rogue.
Yeah, I like that.
Listen, if she can do a southern accent in
She
this,
can 100% do a
I
southern
will
accent.
be
So,
so happy.
yeah, it's fine. She can do a
Super
southern
involved.
accent. I've heard her do the southern accent. So have you, haven't you?
Hmm?
You've heard her do a southern accent, haven't you? In something?
Yeah, she did a southern accent in Driveway Dolls.
Yeah, Driveway Dolls. Yeah, so yeah.
So I want more of that.
Yeah.
That was a highlight of that film.
Yeah.
Julia Butters for Kitty Pryde. Julia Butters, obviously from probably best known Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Julia Waters.
She was the little girl against Leonardo DiCaprio.
How do you spell it?
Julia Butters.
Butters. Smells like butters. Tastes like butter. I don't recognize this person. Who'd she play? The little girl.
Yeah, you know the girl in the scene who tells Leo how great he is. It's the most incredible acting I've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay. Who she played?
She was also She was also Spielberg's little sister in Fablemans.
Yeah. Whatever. Who she rumored to play?
Kitty Pryde.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Jesse Plemons is Beast.
Yeah, I like that. That's funny, actually. Yeah, go with that. Yeah, I like that.
All right. These ones are a little bit more rumory and yeah, that kind of stuff. Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X.
No.
Adrian Brody as Magneto. And I don't know if this is just the AI not working on this Google search. It has somehow got something horribly wrong. Ray Fiennes as Mystique.
I'm not even going to give you an answer.
Or, I mean, the other thing that's brought up is returning certain actors from pre-MCU.
No.
They should just have a clean slate, is your opinion?
100%.
Despite Hugh Jackman being right there.
Fuck off. Stop. Let him die.
They've tried.
Fucking hell.
It just keeps coming back.
No, I need a new Wolverine. I don't actually know who would want to play Wolverine because there's a big question I have in my mind, which is just obviously the Hugh Jackman version is a lot different to the comic book version, and we enjoy both versions. Like, it's fine, but I'm like, okay, are you trying to recreate or at least hit on that Hugh Jackman vibe that everyone's now used to and love in the films, or are you going to try and do something that's more actually like the comic book? They lead down very different actor choices, so.
I mean, the names that I see constantly brought up as potentially Wolverine, Daniel Radcliffe or Taron Egerton. So,
I would love Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine. Taron Egerton, I could not see it. Daniel Radcliffe, I'm all aboard that, to be honest. I'm fucking all aboard that.
All right. That's kind of all the film news for this week. Let's move into giving some thumbs to trailers. Because there are a lot of good trailers this week. We only narrowed them down to 5, but you know, some really solid ones that didn't make the cut.
What didn't make the cut?
The Conjuring Last Rites trailer teaser.
Haven't watched that yet.
Echo Valley, which is a new series starring Julianne Moore. No, new film starring Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney. Didn't make the cut. There's an FX TV show called Adults that's a comedy. That had a pretty good trailer. Didn't make the cut.
Oh. I'm watching any of those trailers.
I think there was another Prime Video series that I...
Yeah.
No, that was a teaser trailer. Doesn't matter. So yeah, let's jump into these ones. Didn't see any of those?
No.
All right. First trailer for this week. Honey Don't, directed by Ethan Coen, starring Margaret Qualley, Aubrey Plaza, Charlie Day, Billy Eichner, and Chris Evans. Small-town private investigator Honey O'Donoghue probes a series of strange deaths that are tied to a mysterious church. Dylan, we just talked about Drive-Away Dolls. What do you think of this weird B-movie lesbian trilogy sequel?
I need to watch Drive-Away Dolls. It's my...
Did you not watch Drive-Away Dolls?
No.
I could have sworn you did.
No, I never got around to watching it. And watching
You're in for
this,
a good time.
yeah, watching this trailer just reminded me that I haven't actually got around to watching it. I really like this trailer, even though the whole time I was just thinking about how I haven't watched Drive-Away Dolls.
Drive-Away Dolls.
Look, double thumbs up. Really enjoyed it. My only critique and one thing that annoys me is I really like Chris Evans in this role, but I wish he would do something different with his look. Is the stage I'm at now with him. If you get what I'm saying. Like, I appreciate he has been trying different roles and things, some to really shitty effect, some to good effect or whatever, like whatever else. But I'm like, can someone like put a wig or something? Like, I don't know what I want. All I know is
Bring back the beard.
maybe. He looks the same in every movie. Like they never do anything with him visually. It's beginning to annoy me.
You know what's interesting? He is weirdly Paul Rudd-esque. Paul Rudd-esque.
Yeah,
where I don't think he's aged.
Well, no, he doesn't age, but I'm like, just do something with him, you know? Like, and it just makes me wonder, is it a him thing? Is he like, no, you can't, like, you can't touch this, you know? Like, that was weirdly, this trailer made me go down this thought path, but tell me I'm wrong, because I don't think I am. Like, he never does anything with this.
I don't know. Sometimes it's darker and sometimes it's lighter.
I don't know, man. Like, just,
you know, I don't have a big deal. I don't know. You're hyperfixating on this.
I don't know if it needed to be this movie, but I'm just saying that
this
trailer made me think that he doesn't do anything ever with his appearance.
I mean, I'm looking at the poster for Materialists, and he's got a 5 o'clock shadow. You know, that's different.
Oh, a 5 o'clock shadow, he says.
Oh, Mr. Old Beardy here.
No,
I give this 2 thumbs up. I think it looks really fantastic. I think Chris Evans looks really great in this role as this, charismatic, rigid, false religious figure. And yeah, there's some good bits, not just on the women, but obviously you've got the thing where Margaret's holding like the church dress that someone was wearing, and then like the lingerie, or like I don't even know what to call it. It's not covering anything but the undergarment.
it's lingerie.
It's lingerie?
Yeah, this is what we'd call lingerie.
I think it's just a bunch of leather straps, right?
Yeah, well.
But yeah, I'm very keen. I've really enjoyed Drive-Away Dolls, so to see this kind of spiritual successor, I'm very keen for that. So Honey Don't is coming 21st of August. Hang on. Need to double check one little thing, because I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Here we go. Next trailer is for Motorheads. Created by John A. Norris, starring Ryan Phillippe, Natalie Kelly, Michael Cimino, Melissa Collazo, Uriah Shelton, Nicholas Cantu, Drake Roger, Joanna Diaz Watson, Josh McQueen, Mia Healy, and Matt Lanta. Motorheads is about first love, first heartbreak, and turn the key in your first car. Set in a once thriving Rust Belt town that's now searching for a glimmer of hope, the series is an adrenaline-filled story of a group of outsiders who form an unlikely friendship over a mutual love of street racing, while navigating the hierarchy and rules of high school. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for High School Fast and Furious?
I didn't like it. Double thumbs down. It just seems so like try hard nonsense. Like just too YA for my particular interest in this category, I guess. I will note the funniest thing to me though is that what's her name? I find Nathalie Kelly is in this, which is hilarious because she's the girl out of Tokyo Drift. And the plot of this show appears to just be Tokyo Drift. Guy goes to new school, bully has to race him to win girl. It's the same plot.
Except it's America.
And they're racing down some hills.
And there's some light up cars in there. Do you see?
Yeah, I did.
There's a one shot.
Yeah.
Very Tokyo Drift inspired, you know?
Yeah.
And yet, it's 2 thumbs down from you.
Yep.
I'll give one up, one down. It looks like a fun time, even though
family,
it's very
Ash.
silly.
Not enough family.
They did not mention family enough, you know. Just they talked about legacy, not family, and that's what threw you off, you know. So I'll give one up, one down. I think it looks like it'll be a fun time. I'm into the coming of age YA kind of shit, so there's a fun twist on it. Obviously, it's hard not to compare it to Fast and Furious. It's just solely how was nothing else capitalized on the street racing idea since Fast and Furious? Really crazy. So, other than I think a couple things have. But anyway, I do feel like maybe they showed a little bit too much. It's like they showed like all these coupling ups and that kind of stuff. So, but that's what you need to show in a trailer for a YA show. Motorheads is coming to not a great name. I'll say that. That's one key thing. Motorheads is coming to Prime Video on the 20th of May. Not far away. Next trailer is for The Ritual, directed by David Medell, starring Al Pacino, Dan Stevens, Ashley Greene, Abigail Cohen, Maria Camilla Giraldo, Meadow Williams, Patrick Fabian, and Patricia Heaton. 2 priests must put aside their differences to perform a series of dangerous exorcisms on a possessed young woman. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer for the true story of The Exorcist?
I'm gonna one up, one down on the trailer. I thought it was like a decent trailer. I think Al Pacino looks weirdly good in a horror movie. Dan Stevens, I like, obviously. I think the only thing is like it just looks like such a basic ass exorcism movie, and it will be if it just follows what the story is, because the story has been covered before in another movie. I can't remember the name, but it came out like 10 years ago probably. But it just looks like such a basic exorcism movie. We've had so many exorcism movies now that I just don't feel like this could sustain modern audiences for attention for much, you know. So yeah, I'll go one up, one down for the trailer. I wonder if I can find the name of the movie. You'd have to Google the name of the girl, maybe. Let's try that. Emma Schmidt Exorcism. I'm sure it'll come up. Oh, her real name's Anna Eklund. The Exorcism of Anna Eklund was a film that released in 2016. And it was pretty shit.
Well, there you go. There's a chance for it to be.
Well, it's going to be better than that, because that was like a straight to DVD film. But I just remembered it being like they've done it before. But
I'll give it 2 thumbs up. I thought it looked good, even though I have no interest in seeing it at all. I like Dan Stevens. I like Al Pacino. Patricia Heaton was a weird choice. You know, someone from a predominantly sitcom background is one of the nuns. Very odd. But yeah, it looked like there were, you know, the exorcism stuff fucking with everybody. The room was in all sorts of disarray. Al Pacino looks like he's actually putting in a performance. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. But what do I know about horror movies?
It's true.
Very little.
Very little.
The Ritual is coming to cinemas on the 5th of June. Next trailer, Stick, created by Matt Palmer, starring Owen Wilson, Pat Dager, Mark Maron, Mariana Tavino, Lily Kay, and Judy Greer. Bryce Cahill was headed for golf greatness when an on-course meltdown derailed his career. Now struggling to stay afloat, he goes on to mentor Santi, a teenage phenom with high potential, and maybe save himself. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Stick?
All right, here's my story for this. I see the email come through last week announcing Stick, whatever, Apple TV, and I read the quick synopsis and see Owen Wilson on the poster and go, that looks fucking boring. That looks like such a we're chasing the Ted Lasso shit with I see an image of what the show is in my head with Owen Wilson. I go, no, thank you. Then you forced me to watch it now because of this, and I've turned a 180. Double thumbs up for the trailer.
So I've saved you from dismissing it.
Yeah. I was 100% dismissing it. I've turned around though. I really like the way, especially the trailer, it took the little bit of time to give the some conceptual, give a little bit of character to Owen Wilson character to diving into the main bit of the story, which is him training that dude. And then just generally looked pretty good. Like the back and forth, Owen Wilson's doing Owen Wilson, but it's working better here.
It's been a while since we've had Owen Wilson.
Yeah. And then I think the rest of the cast looks really good. Obviously, I see Mark Maron within 3 seconds of the trailer, and I'm more interested than I was previously. There's which is just a thing that sad state of affairs, but nonetheless. The girl from Skeleton Crew is in this apparently, so good for her. Yeah, okay. 12 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. I mean, I don't think there'll be any sports TV series released in the next, any sports comedy series released in the next decade that won't be compared to Ted Lasso. And I think there are
it was the Apple TV Plus thing too.
I mean, I just think that's the way it is, and I think there's elements of the trailer, like the music kind of feels Ted Lasso-esque. Obviously Ted Lasso had the Mumford and Sons, and this has a similar-esque kind of song.
Definitely a different type of character,
featuring at the end.
Not as
obviously not an optimistic character in any sort of way.
I like that back and forth with when he's trying to do the proceeding with his ex-wife or whatever.
Yes,
he's
listing court.
Listen, it's do not court adjourned. It's we're not in court.
We're in a hearing. And then he'd calling Mark Maron to quickly bring the RV around because he thinks everything's about to go pear-shaped, and then you hit that sweet hit of the golf ball. But yeah, I thought it was really good. The kid looks really solid as well, so that promising. I think we're going to be overloaded with golf stuff soon because we still got Happy Gilmore coming out soon.
Yeah,
Happy Gilmore 2.
There's no.
I believe there's another golf series that Will Ferrell's working on as well.
Okay. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to watch Happy Gilmore 2. I'm going to go into it open mind, but I'm going. Well, actually, no, it's I'm going into it expecting it to be bad. That's a lie. I'm going into it expecting it to be bad.
Okay. But Stick, 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Stick is coming to Apple TV Plus on the 4th of June. Last trailer for this week. The Long Walk. Directed by Francis Lawrence, starring Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, Garrett Waring, Joshua Ojic, Tut Newitt, Charlie Plummer, Ben Wang, Roman Griffin Davis, Jordan Gonzalez, Josh Hamilton, Judy Greer, and Mark Hamill. In a dystopian near future, 100 teenage boys embark on an annual competitive test known as the Long Walk. The rules are simple. Maintain a speed above 4 miles per hour. Receive 3 warnings in an hour and you're shot dead. The last one walking gets whatever they want for the rest of their lives. Under these grim circumstances, the boys develop deep friendships despite knowing that each of their friends' survival is a threat to their own. Dylan, what did you think of this trailer for the latest Stephen King adaptation? And also based on his first ever novel.
Before I answer that question, answer my question. Do you feel like Mark Hamill has had a resurgence in recent years?
I mean, yes. Compared to
before
the Last Jedi? Yes.
Yes.
Before that, he was barely anything. It was
just voice actor, right? Just voice actor.
Yeah.
And I always thought that might have been from choice because that's sort of what he was enjoying doing more. I am wondering if he got sort of fucked by Hollywood a bit now, though. They sort of forgot about him. And when he was dragged out of retirement, I guess, or not retirement, but dragged back into the spotlight. For some reason, this trailer was just making me think about it. I also like to think, hopefully, that Mike Flanagan. Here's my train of thought. I think Last Jedi comes out. Mike Flanagan watches it. He likes it because he's a man of taste, right? That's my presumption. He likes it. He then says, I'm going to put him in my show, The Fall of the House of Usher, which he's really good in. I then think Stephen King watched that because Mike adapts a bunch of Stephen King stuff and will be adapting more Stephen King stuff. And he sees Mark Hamill in it and go, oh yeah, that guy's great. And then when Francis Lawrence goes to adapt this and he's talking to Stephen King and he's like talking about who to cast, he goes, you should cast Mark Hamill as the guy. I saw him in the thing. He's back. He's really good now. And like, he's not just Luke Skywalker. And then we end up with this. That's how I think all the dots are connected. Do you think I'm onto something?
Maybe. I mean, he kind of has been doing. He's been working pretty regularly.
But these dots make sense.
Like, but not like the big budget stuff, you know. So.
Mike, Stephen King, Francis Lawrence. There is a direct, like, I'm not just throwing out
whatever
names.
You need to say to make yourself happy.
Have you watched the rehearsal episode 3 yet?
No, I have not.
When you watch that, what I'm saying will make a lot more sense to you. The double thumbs up for this trailer though. It is very good. Apparently the story is I haven't read this story. I did download it to my Kindle after watching the trailer, to be completely honest. So it's a short story. Apparently it was the first story he wrote, but not the first published. So the first published was Carrie, as everyone knows. That's like the thing. But then
sure.
Apparently that's his first published book. That's it's just like factual, right? But apparently this was the first story he wrote when he was like, I don't know, a lot younger, but it never got published until later. And it was part of like, he actually published it under a pseudonym, but then became part of an anthology or something. Nonetheless, downloaded it, gonna read it. Hopefully it's good. Because I was intrigued. And I'd never heard this Stephen King story. This is one of those like, just when you feel like you know most of Stephen King stories, even if you haven't read them all, but you've heard of the rest you haven't read or watched or whatnot. And then this comes out and it's like from Stephen King. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this, but yeah, fake fan.
Yep. 2 thumbs up. I thought, really fantastic.
You come on here and you're like, 2 thumbs up. Trailer's good. I come on here, I say 2 thumbs up. I give you a story. I give you nuance. I give you background to what Dylan was thinking while watching the trailer. I give you connecting the dots.
But I found the trailer, so I mean,
and I'm giving you I'm giving you the content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, really good. I think directed by Francis Lawrence, who, as we all know, has directed all the Hunger Games movies.
He loves the Hunger Game.
This is pretty much the same thing.
People dying.
It is a different type of Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to seeing this cast, which is predominantly actors under the age of 30, which will help. Maybe we'll see some new additions to our list. Seeing as Shirley Chalamet is Timmy's getting a bit older every year. He's getting close to that 30 mark. It's harder to fit him in there. Lots of promising actors in this bunch. So, I'm very looking forward to it. I think I'd heard about it because Cooper Hoffman was in it. I think. Maybe I heard about it because Francis Lawrence is in discussions about Francis Lawrence adapting the next Hunger Games book, the new one that came out or is about to come out.
Sunrise on the Reaping.
Yeah, that one.
The one about Hamish.
They were talking about. They'd bring up this film. I didn't know. They'd bring up the title. Didn't know what the movie was about, but very similar to Hunger Games. But yes, The Long Walk is coming to cinemas on the 11th of September.
Can I just say something?
What?
I'm just looking at Francis Lawrence, right? I'm clicking around here just on IMDb, having a quick swizz. He apparently, I don't know if it's just one episode or all of them, has directed this TV series, We Were Lies, that comes out June 18th. I read that book when I was in like high school. I can barely remember the plot for it. But this is one of those weird times where I've like clicked on it and gone, I know. I've read that. There you
Dylan, that was one of the trailers
Was
that
it really?
missed the cut this week.
Maybe we should watch the trailer after this. I don't know if I still own the book, but yeah, I remember reading it.
I mean, it's a teaser trailer, so I really don't.
Wow. What? I'm the book guy on the show, I feel now. Like I'm doing a
Yeah.
lot of talk.
Who has time for books?
I'm talking about books a lot lately, you know?
Yeah.
Audible, man. That's what I'm telling you. Audible. I audibled all those clown books.
Yes.
But then you know what I actually read? Did I mention I'm gonna predict did I tell you my prediction for the fucked up horror movie?
I can't remember. Not ringing a bell.
I read this book. And by just to clarify for people who reckon Audible doesn't count as reading, but I just say that because it's easy. It's a book, right? I read on my Kindle this book called Incel. Did I tell you about this?
I don't think
based
so.
on your face, I'm gonna say no. Hold on. Let me get the author's name right. Because you try and Google it. It's not a good. It's not.
SEO is terrible.
SEO is not a good idea in this book. Incel by Matt Duchossi. I'm telling you right now, some studio is going to pick this shit up. It is the type of fucked up story that is now. It's the like here's the pitch. Ready? Movie studios listening, because I know you're listening out there. This book is from the perspective of an incel. Now, you may be like, why would you want to read a book from the perspective of an incel? But that's sort of the point, right? It's not meant to humanize them, but like it sort of it takes you on the journey of how this shit happens, right? And without going to spoilers, but like if you don't know what an incel is, it's people who consider themselves like involuntary celibate, but it's also usually fucked up young teenagers who, because women reject them, they then go shoot up schools and stuff. Is the thing. Now, this book is one of the most uncomfortable reads I've ever had, and not because of any like particularly gruesome things are happening, but just because of the choices the main character makes and the times the author does such a good job at like portraying he had a you know, there was a moment he could have not done this, but because of his stupid fucking ridiculous beliefs that are regurgitated by like content creators and stuff they listen to, of course, they send him down this path. And it is, I blasted through this book the other week. I remember like I was up to 1 a.m. to finish it because I was so like engaged. And I remember when I finished it, I was just laying there going, that was fucked up. But then my second thought was, someone's going to make a movie out of this and it's going to be fucked. So there you go. New segment. Dylan predicts the next big movie. Next big horror movie. I'm telling you right now, Incel. Go check it out if you want to hate people.
I don't know if you need to read that book to hate people. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And this week's top 3 has a massive twist. This week's top 3 is, in fact, a top 7. This week's top 3 is top 7 Mission Impossible films so far.
Yep.
So on this podcast, we'll be doing the series The Road to Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. The last episode of that series comes out tomorrow at time of release.
So we're spoiling it.
I don't think it's a spoiler. That is slightly placed different. Obviously, Final Reckoning comes out this weekend.
You going on Saturday?
That's the plan. We need to figure out times to figure out when we're going to do.
So weird, right? It's just like in your mind to be like, I was thinking.
I feel like Dead Reckoning also came out on the weekend.
I don't. Yeah,
which is weird.
It's just weird to be like, man, I really got a book. Like usually when you're going on a Saturday, it's something that's already released on a Thursday, you know. But to be like, I'm going on Saturday to a new release movie, so weird.
I think if it releases on a Saturday, more people will be there on day one. Whereas on a Thursday, people are like, it's the middle of the week. Yeah.
See, I'm trying to
I
say,
was
looking at my screenings. I'm like, there is one that's like 10:30 a.m. I'm like, maybe the good choice. I feel like the
Maybe.
one at night would be sold out if I don't buy it by now. To be honest, like
Hmm.
this is one of those movies. I'm like, people go watch it. People go watch it.
Maybe this is one you want to see with the audience. You don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, today we're going to be ranking them from 7 to 1 so far. So Dylan, what's your number 7? I suspect the start of these lists will be very similar, then switch up.
I'll say the funniest thing about this list is that you put in the thing top 7, right? And usually when you send through top 3s, I begin working on it. You sent through top 7. I already had it done.
Yeah, I know.
You're
welcome. I made it easy for you this week.
You really did. It seems like it's double the amount of work. List was already done. I've had it ready for weeks even. Number 7, Mission Impossible 2. Obviously,
Number 7, Mission Impossible 2.
It's easily the worst of the bunch. I think after this you can get a little bit more nuanced with it, but it is just John Woo's trying to bring his type of action and filmmaking to Mission Impossible, and it's not a vibe that works.
It is a mismatch of styles that don't go good together. Like John Woo's action gun fu style of filmmaking with the Mission Impossible-esque films. Not great.
No.
Lots of mask work though, and it's fun to see Australia, even though they don't do Australia very well.
Go out in fucking bush and park in the middle of fucking nowhere with buddy catch him fucking mate.
Yes.
Do
Dylan,
it
what's your
for
number 6?
MIF cunt.
Number 6 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Wow.
Now, I'll be honest. I like the rest of the movies on this list. I think 2 is the only one that I'd say I don't like and wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would happily rewatch the other 6. I could happily never rewatch Mission Impossible 2. Is how I feel, and I can say this comfortably considering this ranking is based off
Just
watching.
we just
all
did
of
it.
But, I was watching one of these films a week, so I feel very comfortable in my rankings currently. But yeah, Dead Reckoning, I think just similar to my thoughts or when we talked about it post spoiler discussion time post release a couple of years ago. It's just that like incompleteness that leads to some messiness, I think, and whereas the rest of the films just feel like more complete stories, and because of that, that's why it's ended up in 6.
Interesting. My number 6 is Mission Impossible. Obviously the one that started it all off. It just feels very indifferent to all the other ones. Very much of its time and era. Obviously, the CGI is not fantastic because it is set all the way back. But yeah, obviously, it is missing a lot of the team dynamic that we've come to know and love from the series, and the crazy gadgetry and the crazy Tom Cruise stunts. So that's why it sits at number 6, even though it is a really enjoyable film and it's a good time. I like Dylan say these top 6, all very rewatchable. And all very liked. Dylan, what's your number 5?
Number 5 for me is Mission Impossible 3, the J.J. Abrams directed entry into the series. Really enjoy Philip Seymour Hoffman as the bad guy. Doesn't get enough screen time to make him the best bad guy in the series. He's the second best, I think, easily though. Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool stuff in here. We get the short haircut. We get the we get the end scene where he goes takes the MacGuffin and we never get to see it, which is going to come back in the new film. It's coming back. We're finally getting an explanation. Lawrence Fishburne does a really good job as playing the director in this one. Very angry and enjoy all that sort of stuff. And yeah, just obviously building. This is the film that gives us more. His parents are mentioned in the first one. Whatever, who cares? This is the first time we get some more. Ethan makes it very personal. Drives the story into that more personal direction for him, which does continue through to the rest of the entries as it becomes more about his care for his friends. As much as or as important as he's not willing to sacrifice any of them for the greater good. It's like all or nothing for him.
Yep. My number 5, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Another great film. Obviously, with the introduction of Rebecca Ferguson, who is like one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. It's really cool sequences. Obviously, Tom Cruise holds his breath for a very long time. But there's a little bit. You love this character, but he's got that too much of that. The villain of this film what's his name?
Solomon Lane.
Solomon Lane introduced as a character who knows every
Double
single one of your moves.
Double checking I was right. I'm right. It's fine.
Human AI, and I don't love that at all. So, but yeah, I mean, it's good.
Is
It's
that why you
good
hate
time.
the Taskmaster?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, I hate women.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dylan, what's your number 4?
Number 4 for me is the original Mission Impossible. Again, it sort of stands apart from the rest of the entries because it was just made as a more straight thriller, espionage like thriller aspect to the series, but it is so good within that particular genre. Like the rest of the other films are very separate to this one, but I think when it's carrying itself within that more serious tone, not to say the other ones aren't serious, but they're a lot more fun, I guess. This is, it's night a lot of time. There's a lot of dark angles. There's a lot of, weird, like secrecy, more spy stuff happening. John Voight's great though. The showdown, even if the CGI is a bit iffy on the rewatch and stuff, I still think the overall plot and the way that this film plays out in that more thrilling, straight espionage angle, more akin to the actual original TV show, makes this one hold up.
All right. My number 4, Mission Impossible Fallout. Again, my major gripe just being around Solomon Lane and the villain who knows how to do everything. But there's so much to enjoy here. Some great action sequences, some great Tom Cruise running, even if he does, injure himself during one of his stunts. And of course, we get the fucking Henry Cavill reloading his arms. What a gift! What a gift to cinema, and that mustache that brought down the DCU.
That was it.
That was the thing.
That was it. Without that, they would have been fine.
It would have been fine. Dylan, what's number 3?
Your number 3 should be the same as me then. Ghost Protocol?
Nope.
Oh, so that's going to be number... Okay. Yeah, number 3 for me, Ghost Protocol. Brad Bird directed entry into the series. This is the one that definitely sends the series on its projected path to where we are now, that more team-based MIF family, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, that we get here. Obviously, we also get more of the stunty stuff that becomes such a big part of the franchise. Obviously running around the building there in, I can't remember, was it Dubai?
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, close.
I guess Dubai. Is that part of Abu Dhabi?
Yeah. Running along that building, and then also just the way, the sleekness of, I guess, the setups and leads into the more hectic action. When you think about the sleekness of the 2 rooms in the hotel and the cutting backwards and forwards and people playing out the diamonds and the money and all that sort of stuff, the way that's all set up, like that sort of sleekness carries through as well. I think this all comes from Christopher McQuarrie, of course, getting like more heavily hands-on with the script from this entry onwards, even though he doesn't take the director reins just yet. But then, yeah, it's like you have that like very sleek action stuff, sleek setup there through to the more intense action scenes, running through the sand and stuff. And I think that mix of sleek action spy stuff through to hectic action scenes continues on through the franchise.
Okay. My number 3 is Mission Impossible 3. Like you said, like kind of like giving a little bit of the foundations of what we come to expect of this team dynamic and family, and a little bit more personal for Tom Cruise, introduction to Michelle Monaghan's character, and we get this weird home life. We get really fantastic performances from everybody on board. One of the most gruesome agent deaths, I think, with fucking Kerry Russell and the
eyes blown up.
Yeah. Old mate. What's his name? There is an awesome character reveal of a betrayal in this one that is probably up there as one of the best. Most out of nowhere.
Yeah, what the fuck is his name? The actor's name from the Newsroom, season 2.
Nope, not from the Newsroom.
Is he?
No, I don't want to say it in case people haven't seen it, but yeah, now I know who the character's name is. And yeah, like one of the most intense openings to one of these Mission Impossible films. Even though we get which is crazy because we've had these openings where he's attached to a plane and like doing all these crazy stunts to open a film. But yeah, this opening sequence for Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of the best. And I think it's got some of the best mask work and all spy stuff. And yeah, it's really fantastic. J.J. Abrams knocked it out of the park with this one. So that's my number 3. Dylan, what is your number 2?
Oh, the morning show.
Yeah. Close.
Fuck. What number 2? Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess I might as well just do 2 and 1 because you've already talked about
I
it.
think people can figure it out, but you
Yeah.
can wait.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, yeah. So Rogue Nation, obviously we have Christopher McQuarrie stepping in to take the reins. This is the let's this is his style of directing. This is the more intense, frenetic action. The lot more Tom Cruise running I think we ever get than ever before now. You just see, I think that bond between Cruise and McQuarrie that they potentially built up before he even set into the director's chair, with him behind the camera and being involved in writing and producing and whatnot. I think that's cemented by this point, that by the time he steps into the director's chair, they're just able to create the direction for this franchise that is it's set in stone. It's like, this is what this is now. This is the Mission Impossible franchise. Obviously, Rebecca Ferguson, Isles of Faust, love her in this series. Very sad, obviously, when we lose her, but nonetheless, she's just such a fantastic addition. Her, again, I'll just say that shot of her fucking holding that sniper rifle, I'd hang that on my wall.
My number 2 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Surprisingly,
Wow.
I've come to appreciate that what I want from a Mission Impossible film is crazy action, but also balanced with humor.
You just
And
said that you hate. Hold on. I want to try and. You said you hate that the character is able to predict what's going to happen, but then your second favorite movie is the one that literally has AI.
At least that makes sense.
That is insanity.
At least it makes sense. Then AI would know how to predict your every move. You know what I mean?
Fucking hell. Oh dear.
But yeah, I think I love the balance of humor. I think Haley Atwell's edition is like fantastic, and the chemistry she has with Tom Cruise is really enjoyable. The whole chase sequence through the streets of Rome is incredibly enjoyable. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's the bike jump that's incredibly shot, but I think the train sequence at the end, like the train falling sequence, I think is really impressively put together. And I mean, it did the job of getting me amped for the next one. So it may be a little bit of recency bias in this one. So
I mean, they should all have recency bias. We just rewatched them all. So, well,
but it's the newest of them,
Yeah,
so
okay.
Dylan, what's number 1?
Yeah, my number 1's Mission Impossible Fallout. This is this is McQuarrie's second run, and I think this is where it just sort of perfects it, hits it out of the park. I remember watching this in the cinema and just being so happy that I go to the cinema is the way I'll describe it. Like, it's just sometimes I watch things in the cinema and I love it. I'm like, this is a fucking fantastic movie. And it's not to say that, I know it's the whole thing of people go, well, you should only watch, my dad's one of those people he'll only want to watch action movies in the cinema because he doesn't understand the point of watching anything that's not an action movie. But it's just one of those things, watching a movie this loud and big where I was just like, fuck, I wish I could have watched it on a louder and bigger screen, but thank God I was able to at least watch it with an audience that was bated breath during the key moments and cheering for others sort of thing. And it was just such especially, I don't know, I feel like there was a couple of years there where I was sort of action movies were very hit and miss, and I remember just watching that and just being like, we're still going, baby. This is cinema. This has the most amount. This is where we get the most amount of Tom Cruise doing shit he probably doesn't need to do in one movie. Just so many stunts he does himself in this one. We get, again, Solomon Lane, which I do think is the best bad guy in the series. I don't agree with your points at all, but that's fine. You're allowed to be wrong. Henry Cavill, as you said, is very good as the August Walker. I don't know, who cares about fucking spoilers at this point. Obviously, the agent who turns out to be bad guy by the end, and it just makes such a good reveal. And we get the mustache and really in the arms and whatever else. More Rebecca Ferguson, fantastic, 10 out of 10, no complaints. We get the tying it back in at the end for Michelle Monaghan turning up. We get the introduction of Angela Bassett in this one, which is going to carry through to the next one. Like Alec Baldwin as Huntley is really good in this. Like, I don't know, there's just it is the best entry in the franchise for me by far.
All right, my number one. Why am I pausing? If you've done the math, you figured it out. It's Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. I think, obviously, again, fantastic balance between humor and action. It's the one where everything goes wrong, and yet they managed to pull the success out of the bag. Tom Cruise on that tower, fucking incredible. Just the whole setup and put together of the film. The team dynamics really enjoyable. Simon Pegg get to be a big feature. The whole him starting in like a Russian prison and getting out, that sequence, them infiltrating the Kremlin only to blow it up, which has become canon within the history of the possible world. Really enjoyable. Ghost Protocol. It's the coolest named one as well. That is our list. So, I guess we'll wait to see where the final reckoning will place within our own personal lists. I'm seeing you with an easy one this week, Dylan. This week, what do you want to watch?
I'd like to watch Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, please.
Mm-hmm. Is there another movie you want to see this week?
I didn't even look because coming into it, that was the only answer. Please hold. You've never gone.
I'm confident there is another movie you want to watch this week.
Is there? I don't even. What else is out this week? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Final Destination's out this week.
Yep.
Is that what you were hinting at?
That's what I was hinting at.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be my other pick. Since I've already opened up the calendar now to have a look, let me just check for TV shows because that's something I didn't think to look at. Let's say absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Unless I'm missing something. Well, you're saying
I'm keen for Murderbot, the new series coming to Apple TV Plus, starring Alexander Skarsgård as a robot who calls himself Murderbot, a security droid.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. There's also the Prime Video series Overcompensating that apparently has Charlie XCS in it.
Yeah, one episode, I think. And she done the soundtrack, which is the thing I'm more keen about.
Okay. Well, those are a few things coming out this week.
I guess that would be my pick for TV show. There's nothing else, is there?
Also, Welcome to Wrexham starts this week as well. More footballs.
More football.
All right, let us know what you want to watch this week by finding us on Blue Sky at explosionnetwork.com or find us on other social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review at Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thoughts with $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess. And now we're going to dive into Clown and Cornfield spoilers.
So I think here's my thing. So the twist is there's more than one. Like it's set up as a slasher with one clown, right? And then the twist, the reveal. So I remember when I got to that part in the book and I was like, wow, that's crazy. I don't know if it lands quite as crazy in the film. I still think it's a cool reveal, but I mean, were you like, oh, there's more than one?
I don't know if it did because I feel like you mentioned it's about the adults in the town wanting to kill all the young people. So maybe it was a little less. I was a little bit prepared for it
because that is like the major twist in it. But I think so. My biggest problem would be that the main basis, which is a thing that starts out as just a regular sort of slasher setup or whatever, quickly becomes this adult versus kids. These damn kids won't get off their goddamn phones, and we gotta. But which the movie does. It like gets at
Yeah, it's
you
like
get
we got to get rid of the bad crop.
yeah, we get rid of the bad crop of kids, but the book, because it gives more time. Like for example, when when Cole, yeah, when Cole's picked up by the sheriff,
Mhm.
the book then has a chapter with the sheriff and him talking backwards and forwards and whatever. So again, you just get to hear more of the characters
Explanations.
talk about their feelings and like their hatred for the new age kids. And then the other thing that the book does that helps lead into my other sort of problem is that in the movie, the reveal that Cole's like sort of he doesn't like he comes to realization he's bi or gay or whatever direction the movie wants to go. And in the book, it's very much sort of hinted that he's bi would be the thing, but
Mhm.
or he could be gay, who knows. But either way, he's like sexual awakening, which however you want to put it.
Yeah.
In the movie, it just sort of comes out of left field, it feels. And you're like, okay, sure, whatever. Also, the funniest thing is I saw someone gave it a 1 star on Metacritic when I was looking what the score was, and they said, don't go watch this movie. They decided for some reason to make character gay then because woke bullshit. You know, like I was like, my dude, it's in the book. But I think that it's also like that, like in the book, it just ties in more of like you hear the characters talk about like these woke agenda these days with like you'll hear like some of the adult characters like talk more like you hear like a Donald Trump or someone I guess talk
Yeah,
these days, you know, like
I think that is probably the thing that's missing. Like
yeah,
outside of the kids being against the teacher character, there isn't much conflict between the two
no,
groups.
and it's like you sort of get the same effect in the movie, but I guess more so in the book. You're like, yeah, they're doing pranks and whatever, but like the level of hatred they're getting is
The
over
just
the
kill
top.
them.
Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, then when they start bringing up like, oh, we hate this woke bullshit, you know, like, and you hear characters like say stuff against like LGBT bullshit, and you know, like you get a better idea of the type of like middle America Trump voting, presumably, type of like small rednecky sort of town that you're dealing with.
Is that
and
a case of they wanted to appeal or like
possibly
not put off that that audience?
I mean, possibly, like, but it also just I don't think that was a purposeful choice. I think most of the choices in the movie is made from just a budgetary reason. You know, like in the book,
Just the amount of
the
time.
finale ends at the Cole's house is where the book ends.
Yeah, you did mention several locations changed.
Yeah, they end up there, and they end up having like Rust, who gets a lot more time in the book, and he gets fuck all in the movie. Is he like comes and you know he saves them and everything like that, but they also end up he ends up fucking up I can't remember his name now. Anyway, the mayor's face, like and scars it up and everything because in saving him, and they end up saving that. So like, there's a lot of location changes that are changed, some elements that are changed. That I think also because they wanted to give this movie, because I'm not sure if they knew they could get a sequel, they wanted to like leave it more self-contained. Whereas the book also it has the prologue's different, and that's from the way the movie started. I could tell straight away we're going for a more like straight slasher approach. The prologue to the book is the sister death thing that they talk about in the movie. It is that it's them out there, the kids are all having a great time, they're at this lake, whatever, they're partying, they're all jumping off this rock or whatever, and Cole's sister goes to jump off it, and then in the book you don't really see, you just hear like they drop the phone from recording, and then you find out that she died, she hit her head on the rock, and his dad blames him for it and all this sort of stuff. So but you get a better idea of that group of characters from the get-go because you're first introduced to them and they're all filming their TikToks and whatever else and all this sort of stuff. And then when you cut ahead to Quinn joining and moving into town in chapter 1, you get a better idea of who that group is before she even meets them. Whereas in the movie, they just start with it's 1980s and someone's dead. Who's the killer? Like, it's such a normal slasher movie start sort of sequence. And then also it doesn't do the epilogue, which again I think is because they didn't know if they'd be able to do a sequel. In the book has an epilogue where it's the mayor getting onto a plane with his fucked up face, which has got like completely like cut open, and he's had to like he's attempted to like sew it back together because he was attacked by Rust, and he's like going off basically to escape. But it does that whole thing where you're not sure if he's dead
he's
or
not
what.
the last clown.
No, so he comes back in the sequel is the thing.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's lots of little things, but yeah. So the sequel is, without like fully spoiling a plot, I guess it's Quinn is at, I don't know what they call it, college. Yeah. So she's where she leaves at the end of this movie. She's off at college, and Cole and Rust are coming to visit her. They road tripping down, coming to visit her. It's like a year later or something like that, I think. But they're still together. They're coming to visit her. Her dad's the mayor now, so he wins that election that they tease at the end of the movie with some posts and stuff. So he's the mayor now. And then basically once Cole and Russ get to her college, of course you have the brief like catch up for the first couple chapters of the book or whatever. But then some dude in a friendo mask comes to college and starts attempting to attack them. At the same time, it's a coordinated attack. Someone attacks her father and ends up nearly killing him, and he ends up in hospital, barely surviving. So of course then they race back to town to see what the fuck's up, and it's basically a whole new group of people who are like trying to continue the work of the mayor, who, and it's all, and this is how you end up with the third book, which has got the ridiculous title The Church of Friendo, which out of context just sounds so dumb, but it's like as the second and third book come along, it's just that like the church or the ideology is literally like very very, I don't know what the proper wording would be, but just like those views of let's go back to how traditional values, like it would be that, yeah. So it's all built around these people like, yeah, he was right. We should kill all these people and take them out. We need to go back to, America's getting ruined. We need to go back to traditional values in America to survive. We need to get rid of all these people. We need to kill all these gay people and what, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it goes super hardcore into, and I think that's why I liked it so much. It's just like it takes the traditional slasher thing, but it has such like a modern social view on like what could drive these people. Yeah. So hopefully they could do some more justice to that element in the second one. But I hope you could, because I haven't like said all that, but I'm sure for ages about why the fuck is Dylan like so engaged into this random slasher thing. But it is definitely
you just kind of devoured those.
Yeah,
in a very short period.
In a very short period. But it's definitely because the characters and the world was so interesting, because it is so like ingrained into like what's happening in the world currently, but within this like slasher background. And not to jump ahead too far to spoilers, but the third one is, and this why I hope they get to do it. It is after she survives, spoilers, the events of the second movie. Quinn is like, I fucking had enough, and she jumps into a car and she's literally trying to go around the country. She's just traveling around, tracking down any remaining members of that took part in the events of the second film that managed to escape, and she's tracking them down and killing them. So, and she's got her father ringing her, being like, you need to stop. I'm sure the police would like forgive you of this stuff. But she's like, crack. She's like, I'm going to fucking, she's like, I'm ending this sort of mentality. Yeah. So like, I'd love to see the full story happen.
Cool. Do you have a favorite kill from this?
The movie or the book?
The movie.
I think that I'm trying to think of all the kills now, to be honest. I appreciated, just for him getting one up on it, I appreciated Dr. Halbrook getting that one over the dude as he's doing the operation. I appreciate that. It's over the top, but it's one of those ones where you're sick of this dude talking shit. So when he dies,
I enjoyed him just telling him, just you need to leave it there, and then they'll patch you up.
And just pulls out and just
it's like, everywhere. Oh no, now you're gonna bleed to death.
I told you. Like, yeah. There's some comedy, so it's funny.
Okay. I feel like there was a chainsaw one that was pretty good. You know, somewhat creative. Like maybe the third of the females. I do enjoy the blonde dying, and it just, I hate you, Quinn.
Yeah, just and then the dude like,
I hate you too.
That's funny.
Probably the very last one where she's learning the car, holding the chainsaw on a car in front of a car. Not a good idea.
Yeah, blood goes everywhere.
It does go everywhere.
I do think, I I'd say that, like, if they do make a sequel, I reckon Rust would end up to be, because the thing is, I don't want to say that the movie would do well because of this, but if once people realize, I think, like, so when you go into the sequel and people know that there's this LGBTQ romance that's now at the forefront, obviously it makes it more, this particular group's eyes will be on it because it's not something you see in a lot of horror movies in especially, which does make it interesting. But I think the reason, the other, I guess, disappointing thing from the movie not doing good as job with that romance is that it does give you like jockey sort of dude, popular kid, and like a redneck character. It's like so
that's a
against
pairing that you don't
it's
see.
not a pairing
That's
that
very against type,
yeah, it's very against type, but it does make it fun, especially like the second book opens with them. The first couple of chapters cut between them in their car, like driving across America to get to Quinn, basically wherever she is, and then like Quinn at school, and like them like sort of bickering in a fun way backwards and forwards in the car, and just being like, "Why'd you have to bring your guns?" And like all this, just because he does very rednecky sort of stuff. So I feel like that's a character that people would really like. If we get more Rust and he's done well, that's the character that is probably the most likable, weirdly, character in the book, other than Quinn.
Yeah, I did like the reveal, even though it was a little bit out of nowhere, like of them clearly having feelings for each other.
They hint at it, and like obviously because I knew it was coming when they're saying things like, "Oh, they had a relationship, like they were used to be friends, but then they cut it off randomly and they never explained it and stuff." Like they try and hint at it throughout the movie that you know.
And the girls realizing why they're kind of being rejected this whole time. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap this up?
No, I just I presume we will get a second one. I'm just hope they give it a little bit more money, especially given the larger scope of the second one. Because without fully spoiling it, it's like, imagine like if this one had 3 or 4 clowns in it, we need like 50 clowns.
Okay.
For the second, we need a lot more people, and we need to be running across the entire, like, a lot more locations. So I think to properly do that, the second book justice.
All right. Look forward to more Clown in Cornfield. Is just Clown in Cornfield 2? Oh.
Yeah, no, I think the second one's just called 2. They didn't add subtitle until the Church of Friendo.
Also, how do you feel about the crew, the design brought to life? The design of Friendo.
It's hard for me to judge.
How you imagine him in your head.
No,
like obviously you watched the trailer.
That's the thing. I think I watched the trailer and then I was doing the book. So like I sort of was subconsciously already picturing it how I'd seen it in the trailer. So
yeah, okay, yeah. All right.